Don't close. Don't close. Sweet!
How can I help you?
I'm here to pick up the cake for Roger Rockmore.
Sweetie, can you please not lean on the glass?
How come? How come? How many countertops do you have to crash through before you learn? I don't know, 4? The glass.
Welcome back to yet another episode of Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. I am Aaron.
I am Adam.
Well, actually, we should say I am the Aaron and you are the Adam.
To match Kenan and Kel's intros.
We should start doing that. We should start matching them, how we introduce ourselves.
I'm all for it.
Okay. I don't know why it took us this long to...
Yeah, we'll just have to re-record the past 2.5 seasons.
I would rather not. I love the show, but I can't imagine doing this project again.
Some episodes are not worth revisiting, for sure.
Like Safe and Sorry.
Yeah, I'm never going to see Safe and Sorry again.
I will never. Some things you'll never watch again.
No. But we're back with another new episode. We're mid-season 3, and this one is called Surprise, Surprise.
I was not surprised by anything that happened in this episode.
Very unsurprising premise, delivery.
From the beginning, from the get-go, it was a little bit predictable. That doesn't mean it wasn't funny.
No, and I think a point I want to bring up early on here is that this is written by a new writer on the show, Daka Herman, and they've only done 2 episodes. This one, another one later this season. So I don't know how exactly it works, but this happens from time to time. Like, if you recall Clowning Around from last year, I got a lot of Clowning Around vibes, written by someone that never, came back.
Was Clowning Around, was that, that was a good episode, though, wasn't it?
I think we made it good.
Okay, oh, right, with the power dynamics.
I would call it was a 7.5, which is, an average score for us.
Was there a lot going on in that episode?
We inserted it.
Okay.
Our counter conversations and the youth.
For this, okay, so typically Kenan and Kel get into a predicament, and then they exacerbate that predicament to no end, and that's kind of where it's funny. It's like there's this one issue, and then it just escalates and escalates and escalates, and I think that's kind of like the traditional arc. But then when we have this new person, there's a bunch of mini arcs throughout the thing, and then so it kind of piecemeals its way together into one kind of big oh my god at the end.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
That's kind of the vibes that I was getting. So maybe it was just a lot of ideas that they wanted to fit in, but
they get into a lot of little troubles that don't all pile up into one giant trouble.
Right. Well, they kind of do, but at the same time, it's almost I don't know. We'll see. We'll see at the end, but we'll see how we weigh the outcome of this episode.
Sure. Kenan and Kel enter on stage, and they do the I am the intro that you mentioned. Anything about their outfits?
Kel's got this turquoise felt jacket that has this zebra print on the inside, which I'm actually kind of envious of.
Yeah, it's got a blue velvet thing. It's very all the rage in late 90s. Kenan's got a blue and yellow polo, which, at first it doesn't sound too crazy, but, the colors aren't, neon shades that you wouldn't use.
It starts to get a little clashing towards the end of our favorite decade of the 90s. To be expected at this point.
Kel has a new thing to show Kenan, and it's nothing you've ever heard before.
Well, Adam, you got to place yourself in 1990. What is this? 9?
8, 9, yeah.
8, 9, yeah. And it's a new effect. It's a new effect. They just got a hold of it, Nickelodeon Studios, and basically Kel wants to show Kenan this effect. Do you want to describe it? You're kind of the graphic arts type here.
Yeah, sure. So first, the camera kind of centers itself with them. Their heads are about midway through the screen, and then all of a sudden, their heads grow to enormous proportions while their bodies remain small. It's kind of like a zoom. Tilt.
Yeah, a zoom tilt where they kind of take the corners of the screens and stretch them up and out, and then their faces just look really big. My favorite part is that they act like this is actually probably a point of conversation. They feel how they look on TV. They don't identify with themselves. They identify with how they are being portrayed on the screen.
it's like they're experiencing this.
Yeah.
is how it's going down, and the audience's reaction, like I noticed I'm doing a good job with like preview screens or something like that, because all the kids are like laughing and losing it, unless they just put up a sign that said laugh. And they're all overcompensating.
I think we should definitely give them the benefit of the doubt all the time. So yes, they did a great job sharing this.
Yeah, and the technology it's kind of like when like you say like an old actor using a green screen. It's like they don't really exactly know how to use the technology rights. Kenan Kel's bodies have to like remain super like steady and calm. Like they can't do as much physical acting.
Yeah, they don't move their arms. It's like editing like in 2000 like well this was old in like the 90s, right? But
90s, late 90s.
I know, late 90s editing, but like imagine like a kid starts a YouTube page. It's like, and the first edit he does.
Yeah, no, everyone's had that moment when they're playing with their camera and they're like, "Ooh, thermal mode."
Like, oh, this is so cool.
It's got night vision.
It's just like a terrible green filter.
Yeah, it looks awful, but they're experimenting, and that's great.
That's good.
So yeah,
I'm very appreciative of Kenan and Kel's experience being both on the screen and in their own bodies.
Yeah, Kel says, "Take us to your leader." Kenan says, "My head is bigger than it ought to be."
Yep, and then there's just a few jokes, and Kenan has pretty much had it.
He calls Kel Blimpy and tells him to revert it.
Blimpy, that's a good one.
Yeah. Then Kel's, I thought it would be fun, and Kenan goes into a Yoda voice.
Oh, I didn't notice.
And he says, "Well, if it's fun you seek, then follow me."
I'm sure the Yoda wasn't that good.
No, it wasn't.
You're like, absolutely not.
It was so. Here it goes. Let's go into the episode.
So we go to the episode. Kenan is stocking orange soda in the bottom of the fridge, where it usually is. And he is unscrewing the caps and to see if he won. We don't know what he's trying to win, but we know that he is not winning. He unscrews the caps of these 2-liter bottles. He does it 3 times, and it says, "Oh, try again. Oh, try again." And so he does.
And the last one, he exclaims, "Oh, do, Hickey."
Yeah, a lot of weird sayings here, but it's good. So anyways, Sharla and Chris gleefully emerge from the back office, and Sharla is quick to make fun of Kenan, saying that she's surprised to see him actually working, which is good writing, because Kenan usually isn't working.
Correct. I thought the writing, like the one-liners and a lot of the dialogue in this episode is pretty good.
Really good.
She says, "I can't believe my eyes." And Kenan says, "There's nothing wrong with your eyes. It's your mouth that's the problem."
Yeah, it's like good witty comebacks back and forth. Anyways, they kind of move past that quickly because Chris has something exciting to show Kenan. What is it, Adam?
He unveils, and I mean this, he really unravels a banner.
I love the banner quality in this show. It's like
it's so slapdash.
It's like brown wrapping paper.
Yeah, like butcher's paper. Yeah. And he literally says, like, we use felt tip markers on it.
Of course, for Chris, that's a point of pride.
What does the sign say?
The sign says, Saturday sale something? I forget.
Super Saturday sale.
Super Saturday sale. Okay. It says Super Saturday sale, and Chris explains to Kenan that they're having a Super Saturday sale on Saturday. What's the catch here, Adam? What's the catch to the Super Saturday sale?
Every item in the store that begins with the letter S is half off.
That is stupid.
As we explore throughout the rest of the episode, it's very... You shouldn't have a vague description like that on it. No. Also, this is information that should be on the sign, right? Super means nothing.
Why do they need a big sign? Why is Chris acting like this is the most important event that Rigby's has ever experienced?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is to replace, like, the bag off happening this year.
Oh, they canceled the bag off.
Yeah, they found out some bad stuff about Agnes, and they didn't invite it back.
Agnes.
Angus.
Angus got in trouble with the law. Anyway, so Chris and Sharla are, like, showing off the full-fledged banner to Kenan as they walk in front of the door. Here's where the predictable part comes in. They're holding it up like it's the finish line of a race, and you just know there's one missing piece to Kenan and Kel right now. What's going to happen? Of course, Kel bursts through the door and rips the sign in half. And then
What's up, party people?
Which he said that?
Yeah, that's what he
He
shouts.
says it later in the episode, too.
That's his go-to line, I guess.
I guess this episode. And I think Kel says, like, what's an day sale? My favorite line, one of my favorite lines of the episode, Kel bursts through and Chris is so upset. He goes, you ripper.
I like the follow-up where Chris is like, look at what you did. And then Kel stares and he's like, how much longer do I have to look?
He does not suffer fools, but he is a fool.
They explain to Kel what the sale is. And I think I also really like his exchange with Chris here. Because I think Chris gets really frustrated. So if you were selling Sam, he'd be half off.
It's like... Chris is like, oh my god, I need to get away from him.
Yeah, Chris says, if Sam were an item, he would be half off. And then Kel asks, who is Sam? I don't know, you brought him up.
It's just so frustrating. Kenan's continuing to stock the shelves with orange soda. Kel goes over, grabs a bottle of orange soda, and says, is orange soda half off? Chris is like, no, it begins with an O.
But soda starts with an S. And as you can see, it's the problem that's going to happen for the rest of the Rigby's this episode.
They're stuck in like this infinite loop of asking if things will be discounted on Saturday.
Chris actually makes a really good point of, why does it matter? You never pay for it anyway.
That is a good point.
And that'll come up later this season.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a little, what we call it, not Easter egg, but something leading to later. That's a breadcrumb for later.
A breadcrumb. Very nice. Luckily for Kel, though, he doesn't need a half-off sale because he, on the cap of his orange soda bottle, he has one.
And he won a free orange soda. And so what does he do?
He takes the one out of Kenan's hand.
Yeah, so he's got two now.
I can't believe that Kenan was unscrewing every orange soda bottle to get a free bottle of orange soda.
That's a good point.
What kind of promotion is that? That was definitely before, like, electronic registers. Because you would just show them that cap, and you'd be like, oh, sure, here you go. Like, what that's...
It reminds me of that, did they have one of those for, like, Coke products for a while? Like, you get, like, 7 of them, you can get a free one.
They did everything.
Yeah, I remember they would do that, like, when I was in high school, and I would, like, gather them, and I would never, like, cash in. I'm like, who does this?
Who do I go to? That's like...
It happened in New York too when I went to college there. They're like, oh, you put in the machine and you get, like, the recycling money. I'm like, cool. And I have a receipt. I'm like, now what?
I don't know much about marketing, but I do know that the plan is to get you to buy more, and they recognize that more people will not cash it in, that it will be advantageous to them.
Right.
All those promotional things. It's usually like, if somebody does, like, okay.
Yeah, they're in the green with those no matter what.
Always.
Before we leave Rigby's...
green for money.
Yeah, green for money. And the red for no money.
Opposite of money.
Yeah, and before we leave Rigby's, I want to quick... did you hear what Chris is up to this weekend?
Chris, no.
He and Mother are going to see Wrestle Fever, which is a musical about wrestling.
Oh, man, can I go?
Yeah, it sounds awesome, right?
Wrestle Fever.
It's a very cultural episode, including what Kenan Kel are up to in this next scene.
That's right, yeah. But before we go there, Kenan mentions that his dad's throwing a surprise party for his parents' anniversary.
Yes.
Right, a surprise party for his mom.
Surprise, surprise, that's the premise of this episode.
So actually really good expose here, in my opinion. I think it was really fast-paced, really funny, light, but also you got a lot of information and things that they would come back to later in the episode. So
I agree.
Really good job on this first scene.
All right. So next we go back to the Rockmore household, where Kenan and Kel are entranced on the sofa, or at least Kel is.
They're entranced on the sofa, and they are watching the soaps, but not in English, in Espanol.
I am going to include a clip here of what's happening on screen, and I would like to request any of our Spanish-speaking audience if they could translate what's being said in this scene, because I'm sure what they're saying on TV is very funny.
I could ask Camille. She would know.
Oh,
She'd
yeah,
be able
maybe
to interpret.
You get your girlfriend's insights.
Yes.
If you recall the first episode of season 2, like they had some like crazy like French speaking, like "Hello, I'm a bicycle" and stuff like that.
It may not be an appropriate use of the Spanish language. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm sure it's some joke if it's anything.
But that is okay. Yes, we will get to the bottom of this and we'll report back.
Mi amor, nunca pensé que volvería a verte. No puedo creer que estás aquí.
Ahora podemos continuar nuestro amor para siempre.
Kenan is mad at Kel. He's like, "Why are we watching this?" And then Kel explains why he's so entranced.
He just dropped Juanita for Consuelo, but actually, it was his evil twin Reno or twin sister Reno or something. Rena, I don't even know what happened.
It was Juanita's evil twin sister Rena. It's Hector did it.
Hector did it. Oh, I said
Yeah.
Hetor. I missed the C.
Yeah.
Hector.
The way Kel says Consuelo.
Consuelo. He says it like
It makes me laugh every time.
yes.
But yeah, no. Kenan says, you don't even understand Spanish. And Kel says, "Oh yeah, I don't." Which does not understand how he understood that scene.
It's a mystery. I think Kel has a sixth sense.
He's got like
Kel might actually be dead.
he's got some power that like triggers random bursts of intelligence and fluency in different languages.
Oh, you know what it is? He might be like a channel. like for
like a channeler, like a medium.
yeah, for like past like people who have like gone before or like his past lives.
Oh wow, that's actually a great theory.
It's like randomly this stuff comes up and he has no idea how.
Huh, he's got like psychic.
Yeah, he actually does have like psychic powers.
Take that, that's so Raven.
Where do you think she got the idea?
Yeah, they got it from the we did have the Kel psychic episode beforehand.
I still cannot get over the fact that Google Puffs came before Google. Like nobody appreciates this show like they should.
Yeah, so it's the Rockmores arrive, Roger and Sheryl, and Roger's being hush hush, but he can't help but comment on the Spanish soaps.
But what about the evil twin sister Rena?
Yeah, as Sheryl goes into the kitchen to start getting meatloaf ready, Roger conspires with Kenan and Kel.
Right, so they're trying to plan the surprise party, of course. We all know how this goes. When your dad sits you down to talk to you about planning something for your mom.
Yes.
And so, okay, we got now your mother doesn't know a thing.
She knows a lot of things. That's not true. Is what Kel shouts.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Anyways, they're planning. Cheryl's in the kitchen. She comes back. They're like, oh, and then
what two things does the plan consist of?
They have to go to the jewelry store to get the bracelet and the bakery to get the cake.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they come back for the big surprise reveal.
Right. So Sheryl comes out, says, "What are you talking about?" And at this moment,
they have to restrain Kel incredibly to not blow this.
At this moment, I saw a parallel, the parallel of parallels.
Oh yeah?
Who is worse? I don't know if you're an Office fan. A fan of The Office.
I've been watching many. I've spent the past couple months watching the entire show through clips on YouTube.
Why? Why would you do that?
I don't. I'm not one of a peacock.
I have it. Do you want an account?
Nah, I've already seen it.
Oh my god.
Now, there's a time a couple years ago where I really sat down and watched it all on Netflix. Again.
Who is worse at keeping a secret? Is it Kel or is it Michael?
That's a good question.
Because they both cannot keep a secret. They're just like this. There's something about their personality that is so unrestrained. They just cannot. They cannot hold themselves accountable to just recognize the situation and like not ruin somebody's secret.
It might be mental. There might be some mental thing going on there. So yeah, no, that happens. They're just really pulling Kel back, keeping him from doing it.
And that's basically it, right? Oh, well, with it ends with
Kel basically saying, he said that he didn't know anything.
Oh yeah. Oh, he did he? And so already, again, like more rising action, and some funny moments that don't really like coincide with anything else.
No, they're all good jokes. They're just not. I guess they're not jokes I usually hear in the Kenan and Kel voice.
Right.
Yeah. But a lot of the physical comedy we're going to get into shortly is very familiar.
That's right.
So starting off at Floyd's. Oh, I'm sorry. We go back to Rigby's.
Yeah, we're at Rigby's first. It's a quick scene. This guy's checking out, and Kenan says the total, and he's like, "What about my discounts?" He's like, "You didn't get anything that begins with S." And the guy picks up the pepper, and he goes, "Pepper," and like Kenan's like, "No, that starts with a P, as in pepper." And what does he say, Adam? What's his justification?
But it's a seasoning. Seasoning starts with S. Anyone that's worked in customer service knows this guy.
So
this guy's being a real Karen right now.
does he have? He's on his cell phone, which is the best at the same time.
Yeah.
He's like, with his antenna.
I wonder who he's talking to. I hope he's not married. I really hope that he's
talking to his wife about the
fixing himself up. Next item's a can of tuna,
which begins with a T, which is too bad, no discount.
But it's a small can. Small starts with S. Like, I get seasoning. Smalls are pushing it.
That hurts me.
It should have been like a can of salmon.
Oh, Adam, I just noticed a bag of chips in the store called Dipples instead of Ripples.
That's pretty funny. So yeah, no Luna Tuna discount for him.
Anyways, Charla comes in late. Kenan has 10 minutes until 6 when the bakery and the jewelry store close, which seems a little rushed, but here we are.
He says goodbye to the customer. So long. See ya. Sayonara. Get out. As in all things that start with S. And then Kel corrects him. Get out doesn't start with S. Charlotte's late, and Kenan now has to rush to all his destinations.
That's right, and we're left with a scene of Charla checking out a customer who has a turkey and asks if the turkey is discounted. She says no. It begins with a T. And the customer says no, it's a sandwich meat. Turkey is a sandwich meat. And that just makes me upset.
Absolutely. Once again, shout out to anyone that works with customers. It's a terrible job.
Retail, yeah.
Yeah, I've been a cashier before. This stuff happens all day long.
Oh my gosh. Can you take this coupon? Ma'am, that's 4 years old.
Yeah, try working at a dollar store, see how many times a day that joke happens.
Oh my gosh.
We go to a new place. Oh, an old place.
I was going to say, this is not a new place or a character, if I'm not mistaken.
The set's been recreated because now they're in California, not Florida. But they are revisiting Floyd's jewelry shop.
Yep, Floyd is waiting patiently for them and is so happy to see Kenan because Kenan's dad and Floyd have known each other for 30 years.
So I do want to point out, in the previous episode, we introduced this character as Nate. His name is not said in this episode, and the actor's name is Floyd Levine.
Oh.
So maybe his name's like Nate Floyd.
Oh.
And it's like his jewelry shop.
There's so many, I don't understand.
Or they named this shop after the actor. It's confusing.
Anyways, I don't think anybody needs to know that ever.
No, his name, neither name is mentioned. It's just different on the wall and in the last episode.
Well, thanks for going back and checking, because I certainly was not going to.
First thing he does when he gets in is Kel leans on the glass. He tells him, "Don't do that. That's dangerous." And he reflects on this wonderful story about his father and him when they were renting a boat. You've been in this spot as well, right?
Adam, I lived in this spot. This guy says, we had some good times together, or so many good times together. And Kenan goes, "Oh, don't tell me about the good times," or something like that. And "Oh, your dad didn't know diddly squat about sailing." And it's like, yep, I've been there. I go to the Pottstown Y. It's like, I know, want to hear something about what I know?
Yeah. Me and your dad just...
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, a lot of that. So he goes on that, and he finally Nate/Floyd gets upset when he learns that Roger is having a party, an anniversary party, and didn't invite him.
I got real high school vibes from Nate, like
Yeah.
like small town guy, like at the jewelry store. You know, a lot of married couples. You know, a lot of divorced people who are exchanging their rings, and he wants the down low on what happened. I feel like Nate's a little bit of a drama king or drama queen. Anyways, he gets very, very, very upset and is basically just like appalled at Roger. And then Kel leans on the glass again, and he says, "Don't do that." And Kel says, "Why?" And then it breaks.
Yep. Yeah, he shatters the glass, which must be a pain. Like glass on diamonds, you have to like sort out everything.
Oh my! I don't.
As they rush out with the bracelets, he shouts, "Your father's gonna pay for this."
Sorry.
Maybe some sweets will perk you up.
Some sweets, yes. Maybe some sweets will wake me up. We head over to the bakery, which is closing until Kenan and Kel barge through at the very last second and say, "No, don't close the door."
Also, my retail experience.
Wait, what? You're closing now?
Yeah. Did you catch the name of the place?
I did actually. Bake My Day.
That's fun.
That's good. Good bake shop name.
It's a very sweet lady, and she keeps using the word "sweet" and "sweeties."
It is kind of funny. Yeah, that's what you would want from a bakery owner.
Oh yeah. There's some nice Chicago shops. If I was in Chicago and I saw these, I'd go inside. Kel immediately goes to the cake in the glass there, and Kenan gets super mad at him.
He's just like, how many times you gotta crash through the glass before you learn? And Kel goes, I don't know, 4?
That's a new tally that I'm keeping, by the way. So, if Kel crashes through glass 3 times and see if he learns his lesson.
Okay, back to the past lives. Okay, ready? Maybe he crashed through glass in a past lifetime, and he knows that his soul will not be learned. But I've been learning a little bit about past lives, but I don't really know how they work.
Maybe he was like a stunt person of some
I
kind.
know. I'm just pretty much just joking. That is not a theory I want to pursue.
Oh man, let's see if anything else supports it.
Well, maybe
Otherwise,
one day.
we'll leave it beside the Chris's mother's a witch. She pulls out the cake and shows it to Kenan. And do you know the description of this cake?
Yes, I write down everything. It's a double chocolate raspberry cape. It's a raspberry
you wear it on
cake
your back
with a mocha cream center.
Yes, and it's it's written "Happy Anniversary." Is it Sheryl?
I believe so.
Yeah, which it's kind of weird that this anniversary is like one-sided.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess she probably got something for him, but then he's throwing her to this party. That's like his gift, and all these gestures. Maybe her love language is acts of service.
Oh, that could be it.
Gift giving.
She made the meatloaf that week, and he ordered the cake.
I don't know. I don't know the depths of Sheryl and Roger's relationship.
Oh, it's been a long relationship, according to this episode.
Yeah.
Kenan's inspecting the cake. What's Kel up to in the background?
He is trying to climb on the baker's rack, which has just open cakes and pastries on it.
And what do you know? It falls onto him.
When it falls, Kel is like not moving, and Kenan is facing is at the counter facing the woman, and he asks, I don't suppose that loud crashing sound came from anywhere besides this store.
And she says, "No, sweetie." I suppose you're gonna put that on my daddy's bill.
Yes, sweetie. So anyways, what was gonna happen, right? A lot of this stuff is predictable, right? Kel and Kenan walk through the front door of their house. Surprisingly, the cake is still intact. Kel is covered in
sweets.
Yep.
Yeah. And Kenan's like, "Please, hey, be careful. We gotta get this cake back." And Kel has the audacity to say, "Whatever am I not careful?" After just 10 minutes of pure just hell.
Kenan's response is very good. He says, "When you're awake."
So as he's going to move the cake, Kel is the one that says, "Wait, hang on. It almost fell through the bottom. Oh, nice save. Let's take it out of the box to make sure it doesn't fall out."
And then you knew what was going to happen as soon as they got that cake.
Yeah. They're walking. Kenan does the exact same motion they did in the last episode with the ice cream barge.
I mean, the knocking over desserts thing is kind of getting old, but I'm still here for it.
Yeah, where he goes from standing up to like flat on his face,
Like flailing.
and throwing the desserts
Where does the dessert land, Adam?
on the couch.
It lands right on the couch. Yes. They are, of course, kind of freaking out at this point. He goes, "My daddy, my daddy." That's what he says.
Yeah. So you've dropped food before.
Yes.
Would you say at this stage, before the commercial break, is this cake salvageable?
This cake is 1,000% salvageable.
Yeah.
It made me so upset watching, like, cause listen, accidents happen, like, right? But they could have taken it up. They could have gone to Rigby's, grabbed some icing, right? It wasn't that bad.
They could have put pink icing on this, no problem.
Actually,
You know?
yeah. Okay, so actually, before the commercial break, it's pretty much flat on the couch, just like,
Yes.
face down. After the commercial break, it's all broken up
Into pieces.
into pieces. And so Kel says, maybe we can fix it. And he starts... I don't even know what he's trying to do.
He's trying to, like, recraft it from clay. Like, break it down into smaller, essential pieces and reform it.
And then he doesn't know what he's doing. He's clearly not making any progress. And he goes, "Oh, fluff it up. And he starts throwing it in the air.
Yeah, and it's not working. That's not the kind of dessert that can be fluffed up.
No.
Kenan proposes, "We gotta do what we gotta do, man." He shouts out one of his old catchphrases.
Oh, this is a good one. "We have to try."
Yeah, and they go into the kitchen, which made me think that Daka, whoever wrote this episode, must have seen the Thanksgiving one at least, because I feel like that one's right from that. It's them making trouble in the kitchen. Yeah, it's got all the staples of that, and I gotta have to admit, Kenan and Kel getting to the kitchen is always a good time.
Adam, they also must have seen the what's the flu episode called?
Let's see, the Cold War.
The Cold War. They also must have seen the Cold War because this is the same counter where the concoction was made.
Yeah, one or both of those episodes they witnessed, and like they just made this. They're like, all right, this is a staple. We have to have this, and yeah, time to cook.
Adam, how are they going to go about cooking this cake?
Kenan smartly pulls up a recipe book, and he sees that cake requires eggs, milk, butter, flour, icing, and that's it.
And so they're grabbing stuff out of the
Sugar.
pantry. They're grabbing stuff out of the fridge, and then they get them all together on the table. And Kel, of course, instead of flour, gets the flowers.
Yeah, not flowers, flour.
And this is the best. They bring all the stuff from the kitchen table. They carry it all over to the bowl that's on the little ledge that's facing the audience. And then they read the directions at them. Do you have them written down?
I don't.
Okay.
Do you?
Put it all in a bowl, mix together, and then cook it.
Cook it.
Like, at least as I watched it, that's what it seemed like the recipe book said.
Yeah, the portions that they use.
Oh,
are...
I wanted to explode.
So it's they use it all. The whole bag of flour, the whole bag of sugar, all the milk,
A gallon of milk.
a box of butter butter sticks, just with
All
the
four,
wrappers
all
and all.
4 sticks, and then the eggs is the best part.
Yeah. Kenan's trying to break the eggs and put them in, and Kel
Kel is cracking the eggs like on the counter, the yolk's going everywhere, and then he's putting the shells in.
Yeah, and okay, my actual favorite Kel line of the episode is he says, "Mine's not working."
Oh my god.
So now they have to whisk it all together.
Well, first Kel tries to mix it with his hands. He sticks his hands in the batter, and Kenan goes, "Not with your hands," which makes me like, why not?
Well, actually, we're gonna find out why not later in the episode.
I know we're gonna find out why not. We didn't even say.
No.
We didn't even say where the bracelet was, Adam.
Yeah, that's a good point. The bracelets, Kel, what's the word I'm thinking of? He brandishes it on his wrist.
Brandishes is good. Yeah, so he puts it on his wrist to be safe. We're kind of giving some stuff away if you're actually paying attention, which kudos to you for making it this far. Well, so Kel sticks his hands in, and Kenan goes, "Not with your hands." I don't know why, because they just threw all the rest of the stuff, like eggs and like it is.
Yeah, right. They didn't wash their hands. Now's a bad time to get cleanliness into this cake.
Yep.
So they pull out the egg beater.
With the extra long extension cord.
Oh yeah, this extension cord is like if you want to egg beat upstairs, you can.
If you wanted to hang some Christmas lights outside, you could use this egg beater as an extension cord.
Right. And at first, Kel is surprisingly competent with it.
Yeah, he's mixing.
Maybe a past life of his was like a baker.
It's quite possible. He has some skills that are just beyond comprehension. Now, before we start mixing, Adam, I do want to say it's very clear that Kenan and Kel never made anything before in their entire life.
Yes.
We basically are mixing on low, and Kel is rocking it. It's going well. And then Kel wants to go higher, and Kenan's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And you know what happens.
Kenan was right. Kel goes high with it and clears off every counter in the kitchen as he screams and runs around with his crazy egg beater.
And yeah, knocks over everything on every counter. It's very reminiscent of the turkey. It's almost the same exact skit.
Mm-hmm. However, he did not at any point shove the turkey up Kenan's butt.
No, he does that with the egg beater. Well, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we got to talk about this. It's going everywhere, right? It's around the kitchen table. This extra long extension cord is just going everywhere. Kel is holding on to the egg beater or the beater, and he can't let go of it, even though it's causing him so much pain. He grabs the blinds of the window, and it just twists around, and it's spinning the curtain rod, and
he carves into the cabinets.
He goes into the cabinets, rips a hole in the cabinet, rips the cabinet off, and then they throw it on the ground eventually. Stomp, stomp, stomp. They kill it. And then it comes back to life, and then stomp, 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 and they kill it. And one more time. And
yeah.
They are at a full-out war against this mixer.
No, it's no longer a Cold War. This is a very hot war.
Very hot war.
And cut to the next scene.
Oh no, Adam.
Oh
no. I know. We got to move this podcast along, but
okay.
I told you that there was some mythology going on here, and
please,
I can't help but make the connection that Kenan and Kel trying to defeat this ravenous beast of a mixer, right? So think about what happened so far. They did what they were supposed to do. They went to the bakery, and then they messed up. They dropped the cake, and now they're trying to redeem themselves. But before they can redeem themselves, just like the finishing touch before the baking process.
Yeah, but before putting the icing on the cake, metaphorically.
Yes, before putting the icing on the cake is the boss, like one of the bosses, or there is this chaotic monster that is thrashing about violently, and they cannot help but let go of it. It's like their inner desires. It's like the
chaos is like their main street. Like they can stray away from it, but they always return to chaos.
It's always
chaos. Maybe that's like the forces that are taking over Kel. Like they always push him to chaos. He's the one that turned on the heat and turned on the maximum setting.
You're right. It's like he has it in his hand, and it becomes his worst enemy. But it's
also him.
It's him and his
worst
power
enemy.
The whole time. It was in his hand, but it was controlling him. So we'll leave it at that.
As Kel says, okay, what's the book say to do next? And we cut to Kenan finishing the cake.
I hate this.
He did it!
I hate this.
He made a good cake!
I hate this.
You don't think that he should have constructed a cake by the end of this?
No. There was so much liquid. And eggshells.
Yeah, no, it's maybe he started from scratch off screen. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe he went to Rigby's and bought the cake there and got it on a half-off sale because it was sweet.
I don't think that lines up with the rest of this episode. It was this batter. It was this batch that did it, that made this cake.
Oh, you're right. All right, Adam, do you want to explain what this next scene holds?
He and Kel are both all cleaned up. They're wearing like their blue, I think classic blue and green this season. Like they look like their date episode, the same color pattern.
Right.
They get ready for the party. The first guests are here. They move the cakes nicely into the living room. Who's at the door?
The Crams.
Yeah, Mark's parents. Which I can't believe they still like them with their party like history.
I can't believe it either.
Unless that one happened like in the future of this episode. But yeah, no, they come in and they make themselves at home. Mrs. Cram takes a seat where the cake fell.
And it was not cleaned up.
Nope.
The double chocolate raspberry mocha cream cake.
And she sits directly into it.
Doesn't notice.
Nope. And the doorbell rings, more guests are coming. Kenan tells her to sit down, and he says to her, why don't you sit for the rest of the party?
Yeah.
Kenan's interactions with Mrs. Cram are wonderful.
Yeah, they're pretty good. He's like, don't, he like, it's at the point where he's lost all of his patience. And he's just like, don't stand up.
Keep your seat. Yeah, I got it.
More people come in. Kel goes, hey, party people, once again.
Yeah. There's two men and 3 women that enter. All we know is that one of them is named Alice.
Yeah, I don't know why they had to name one.
I don't know who are all these like family friends.
They are B-roll, C-roll, D-roll actors, but we hope that they're listening to this episode and they know
we'd love
that
to talk to them.
We appreciate them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We appreciate Adam, it's about time we had our first guest on this podcast. What do you say?
Yeah. I'd agree. I saw someone earlier today on Twitter posting about how they their father was an acting coach for Kenan and Kel.
I saw that. Let's get him.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey,
I'll reach out to him or his dad.
if anybody wants to be a guest on this podcast, just send us an email at KenanKelPodcast@gmail.com. Whether you're a fan or you're famous, we would love to have you in the Fanta fan club. Okay.
The Fanta zone.
Fanta.
Great.
Adam, my dreams is that one day this podcast becomes so successful that it gets sponsored by Fanta, and then we get like a Fanta zone in one of the minor league ballparks in America.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking, oh man, I'd love to be represented at a ballpark. That's the dream, right?
Like a AA, like outfield party for like teenage.
I just want like the corridor pull pork station named after us. Like the KKAA orange soda stand.
Like a little cart.
Yeah, a little cart. That's all I want.
And the guy working it's wearing a Rigby's apron.
yeah, that'd be so great.
We don't have big dreams, but we have dreams.
Maybe we call it Who Loves Orange Soda?
Yes. Okay. I like it.
All the party people come. He's the guy asks Kenan where he can put the gift. He says give it to Kel, and Kel opens it, revealing 2 purple bathrobes.
And Kel's like, "Oh, 2 bathrobes. What am I gonna do with 2 bathrobes? Is one for?
I mean, one would be nice.
Is the other one for an emergency?"
Kenan explains that they're for his parents, and Kel aggressively tries to rewrap it and does a poor job. They're arriving.
Yes. Roger says, "What is he?"
Well, 2 more guests sound the alarm. Everyone goes to hide, and Roger does an amazing job on the other side of the door.
Amazing.
Like stalling for time.
Amazing. Well, here we are, home.
I'm taking the key out of my pocket. I'm putting it in the lock. Meanwhile, everyone's trying to find... it's a really fun, quick scene of... Well, Kenan puts, like, the other cushion on Mrs. Cram. Like, don't get up, hide behind this.
Adam, did you get from Roger? Did you get SpongeBob forgetting how to make a Krabby Patty episode?
Yes.
Because,
I'm turning the doorknob now.
yeah, it's like very careful. What is he even doing? And he's like walking across with his shoes, or he forgets how to tie his shoes. Is that it?
The tie shoes episode. He doesn't remember that one either. He forgets a lot of stuff.
No. But it's like that like sequence of things that he's doing, like explaining.
Keen tries to find a hiding spot, can't find one, so he like kind of goes behind the lamp. I don't remember exactly where. But they come in and it's dark and the lights turn on. Surprise! Sheryl is sufficiently surprised.
She's very, very pleased.
Yes. And she says something very sweet, which is that I can't wait to celebrate another 20 years with you.
Yes. Which is good because we get some good character information, and it's good because it's very sweet.
Yes. So I would like to roll back the clock briefly here.
Okay.
To our... Believe it or not, we're revisiting Doing Things the Hemingway.
Oh my god.
So on that episode, I kind of broke down Kenan's parents' ages and how the actors' ages are vastly different.
Right.
So at the time of that episode, I think 2 years prior to this one, Ken Foree was 48 and Teal Marchand was 31. So now...
Oh my.
Yeah, so now
no.
Roger is being played by someone that's 50, and Teal's being played by someone that's 33.
Right. But that's not their age. That's not their age in the show.
Yes, we speculated that maybe she's playing older, he's playing younger, but he can't be playing too much younger if it's been 20 years.
Right.
Yeah, so I assume that they're in their I call it early to mid 40s. Does that make sense? 20 years together?
Yeah.
In their 20s?
Early 40s.
I know they met in college. Yeah,
that makes sense.
That timeline adds up. So basically what I'm saying is that Teal's playing someone that's much, much older than she actually is.
Yeah, like 10 years.
Like 10, 15 years.
Yeah. Ken Fiore, can we get him on this podcast?
I hope so.
Do you think you could do it? What if you did your impression?
I would either like him on the podcast or I'd like a picture of him and me together, so just to see our size difference.
Just a picture. No context.
Yeah.
A Christmas card.
Ken Foree, I want a large... I want your large arms around me. He's old now, isn't he? He's born in 48.
Oh my gosh, he is. He's 73. Okay, he's not that old.
Okay, that's pretty... He's retired. He's not doing anything new.
It says he's still active, Adam.
Okay.
Wikipedia.
Oh yeah, he played John Henry in a...
Oh my god.
Yeah.
He played John Henry?
He's in Nightwalkers, the TV series. Yeah, no, he's had a lot of movies in the past.
He must love it.
10 years. Yeah, good stuff. I would work with him.
I would have anybody who was in this show on the podcast.
All right, maybe I should reach out to Teal finally then.
Yeah, Teal, please join us. We have proven that we're not going to stop.
Yes, nothing can stop us. No. We're gonna keep going,
even if nobody is listening.
Even if we have to move to the books.
The books.
There are spin-off books about Kenan and Kel.
Oh yes.
Written for children.
I mean, we did a Good Burger podcast in one day.
Yeah, we could do one that spans the series of a book.
I'm sure it won't be much to talk about. I'm sorry. Okay, let's...
So, Roger's talking up the cake. He's like, I hope you enjoy it. He describes a double chocolate mocha filling. And then Kenan says, no. It's a vanilla cake with strawberry icing.
Kenan? Something like that. And then Kenan goes, these bakers... They're always messing things up, and he gets all...
They lied to me!
They make me so angry! And he goes, okay, son, calm down.
Yeah, that was a great cover by Kenan.
Really, really good, yeah.
Usually his excuses are terrible, but that's a good one.
He had a soft spot.
He's like, all right, great, cake's no problem. Do you have the bracelet? They check Kel's wrists. It is not there.
And if you're paying attention earlier, you already know where the bracelet is. It's in the cake.
Yes. So as the guests are enjoying the cake, Kenan and Kel are scheming that they've got to check every piece of cake.
This was almost like a cartoon.
Yes.
Like they go over to everybody and they're like, "Oh, hello, how are you?" Their fingers in their cake.
Yeah, I love how each one's different. So the first one, Kel ninja rolls and smacks it out of Roger's hand.
Doesn't even look to see if.
No. Kenan walks over to some people, then two hands at the same time. He does the thing where he goes over to someone else and he's like, "Can I see that for a second?" Destroys it with his fingers. "Thank you." Kel destroys the rest of the cake. And everyone's enjoying the cake too. It feels so bad. They're like, "This is a really good cake."
I don't know how it's good.
You mean either.
I don't know why they didn't just let it roll and be like, "Oh, sorry, we gave you the wrong piece," or "Oh, we miscalculated." That's a thing that Latin cultures do. They will, like, what is the thing? It's like the Three Kings cake. They, like, hide a ring in the cake or whatever. They, like, bake a ring and yeah.
That's the adventures, destroying the cake. And they do not find it, but who does?
Sheryl.
Yes. And she sees it as the most romantic thing ever.
She puts it on and is just screaming, showing everybody, hugs Roger. "You're the best husband ever. I love you so much." And
which is really good.
It's good. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
Kenan and Kel didn't mess up that bad. And then you're like, what else could happen?
Well, Roger walks into the kitchen.
Roger's like, "Kenan, I'll see you in the kitchen." And then Kenan and Kel walk out the front door. Roger goes in the kitchen, and that's it.
Yeah. He shouts for Kenan.
I think the reason this writer didn't make many more episodes is because there was like a happy ending almost.
You ended on a happy note.
There was fortune instead of misfortune at the end.
Yeah, everyone kind of won.
Yeah, because, I mean, the only person who's mad is Roger, and, I mean, the kitchen is...
He's always mad.
But Roger's always mad. That's why when Kenan got mad about the bakers, he was like, "Okay, son." Because he saw the anger in his son. No, it's just...
Oh, wow. He saw his own anger reflected back at him.
Through baking or a cake, which is exactly the anger that Roger was about to inflict on Kenan.
Awesome. And then we go back on stage for the finale here. And I thought this is a pretty good one. It's up there for me.
I didn't write any notes on it, so why don't you go ahead, Adam?
Kel's like, "Oh man, we got into so much trouble," and Kenan's like, "No, actually, it turned out pretty well." Kel's like, "What about the kitchen?" "Oh, my dad cleaned up himself." "What about the cake on Mrs. Cram? He thought it was funny." "What about the bill? He paid it off happily, and he was so happy that he bought me a puppy, got me some new video games, and raised my allowance." Kel's like, "Really? No! What are you, crazy?"
It's like, of course not.
"He went coconuts, and now I'm grounded until next week's show."
He's like, "I don't even think I'm supposed to be out here." And then you hear Kenan.
I think I finally put together what's happening on this stage.
Okay. It's only taken 2.5 seasons.
Yeah. This stage is a veil between... It's not just a veil between worlds, but every layer deeper that you go, you can't see the one beyond it.
Oh my god.
So, like the actor Kenan and Kel, they know they're making Kenan and Kel, right?
Right.
But Kenan and Kel on stage aren't... That's Kenan Rockmore and Kel Kimball. That's not Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell. That's them. They know that a show is going on behind this curtain, and they're going to go out there, and now and then a character or a voice comes from the other side.
Right.
However, they see the scripts, they interact with it in that way. That happens. But then the show itself, behind the curtain, that is cannot acknowledge any of the previous layers. So everything that's happening in there is its own thing.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the setup for the show.
It's almost like they get together and they like have this like collective idea or dream, and then they have it together, but they can't really control what's happening to them like in the
It's like the gravity in Inception.
Oh, anyway, we have to end this.
All right, so ended as we always do. Kenan tells Kel to grab a cloud, a flagpole, and a submarine and meet me in my room. Come on, Buffalo Bottom.
Buffalo Bottom. Yep, and that's the episode. So, Adam, what do you think? General impressions, general thoughts.
I felt a lot of vibes akin to the last party episode, not the last one, Clowning Around. It had a lot of vibes like that. Some ultimately good stuff that happens towards the end. Some trouble they get into along the way, not the usual trouble. But a fair episode.
Fair episode for sure. I really liked the fast-pacedness. I liked the continuity throughout the episode, except for the cake. which
It didn't waste my time like a couple other episodes this season.
Yeah, no, and I got some really good laughs, and it was so predictable, but it was also really good. Overall, well worth the watch.
Okay. Well, 2 quick things here before we wrap up. I'd like to ask you, as I always do, hey, whose fault do you think this episode is, Kenan or Kel's?
Kel. Kenan almost does nothing wrong.
And Kenan fixes a lot of the situation, doesn't he?
Right. It's Kel's fault through and through.
All right, won't argue that. We have the ratings. So on IMDb, this episode has a 7.1 out of 10, ranked 50th out of 62. So it's a low-ranked episode. Like I said, I think it's average, par for the course. I'm going to give it the same grade that I originally gave Clouding Around, which is a 7.5.
Yeah, I was thinking I'm going to give it an 8.5. I actually really liked this episode. I thought it was good.
Wow.
It was kind of goofy, so I might change it at the end, but
sure.
8.5 for now. I don't know. It's been a little bit since our hiatus, so been a little bit. It's hard to compare.
We got to reorient our scores, perhaps.
Yeah, before the beginning part of season 3, but anyways, overall
that's
pretty
fair.
good.
8.5 bottles of orange soda. Nice call.
Yeah.
Before we get into the next episode, I have a last thing here I'd like to share.
All right, go for it.
We have a fan letter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this one's from Tom McGuire. He says, "Hey guys, I love the podcast. You've got a listener from just outside of London, England."
Oh, yay.
Yeah, pretty awesome, right?
Wow.
I too loved Kenan Kel as a kid, and it's still hilarious when I rewatch it. Also, I design merchandise, so if at any point in the future you think of making some merch, I'd love to work with you. Got a couple of examples of my work down below. Funny enough, I usually listen to the podcast while I'm working. Anyways, all the best. From Tom.
So cool. Very nice. Thank you so much, Tom. We might have to get those Rigby's aprons after all.
Yeah, we might hit you up on that. He's got a great Facebook page, Tom McGuire Illustration. If any of our fans want to check out his work, he's got some really awesome designs. Next episode is You Dirty Rat. I cannot wait to hear this Kenan Kel against some rat problems. I think this one's got a dream sequence in it. We haven't done one of those in a while.
I missed those.
And some animals on set.
Whoa.
They're opening up a can of worms with that.
A can of worms or a bottle of orange soda. You take your pick.
All right. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Hope you're having fun with our return to form here.
Until next time, Fantas. Here it goes. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. If you want to stay in touch, send us an email at KenanKelPodcast@gmail.com, or you can send us a voice message at anchor.fm/KenanKelPodcast. Our social media accounts are all at Kenan Kel Podcast. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Thanks, everybody.